Hi, everybody. This is Ian Lamont. I'm the founder of the Lee Media book blog and video channel. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my early experience thinking about startups. And I want to share this story because one thing that happens sometimes when people get involved in starting their own company or approaching the startup ecosystem is they get some rejection of their ideas early on. And which is, I think that's kind of part of being an entrepreneur. Your idea will be rejected not only by potentially customers, but also by experts who may have opinions about why something may or may not work. They may be wrong, by the way, but they'll definitely share their opinions. But what's more disturbing to me, actually, is how some of these people in the startup ecosystem, especially investors or people who are experienced, they will shut somebody down, not because of the how valid their idea may or may not be, but because of who they are or their behavior. And let me share my own experience. So when I got first had the idea that maybe I wanted to move away from the corporate media world where I'd been working for a long time and start my own company, I went to the Boston University. They had some sort of startup accelerator type of thing, and it was staffed by these expert people from BU's business school as well as the MIT VMS, which is Venture Mentoring Service. So I went into this conference room overlooking the Charles River, and some BU and MIT folks were there, and I gave my pitch. It was about some sort of digital media idea that I had because my background was digital media. I was a product person. I was really good at what I did. So I gave my pitch, and then the MIT guy spoke up, and he said, there's something wrong with the way that you gave your pitch, and your manner, it wasn't right. And if you're not raring to go, there's something wrong with you. Some of these guys, I practically have to hold them back. And and the message basically is that I had the wrong personality for doing this, and not really cut out for entrepreneurship, definitely not a leader, and I was probably going to fail. And that was a really disheartening thing to hear from these people that I trusted to give me some good advice, because it wasn't really about the idea, it was just about the way that I presented myself. But the reality is, in the startup investor world, there are a lot of people who are pattern matching according to what they expect a startup CEO to behave like, what they're expecting to see, what they want to see in someone that they will invest in. And if you don't fit that mold, they may just reject you out of hand, which is really, really discouraging. And also, who knows how many dreams these types of comments have killed. Not because the idea was bad or the person or the founder was incapable of doing it, but just because these founders did not meet the expectations of the investors. So here's another thing that you hear sometimes: we don't invest in the idea, we invest in the team. And what they're saying is, and some investors, they won't even talk to you unless you are a team. They'll say, we want to see a team. We want to see at least two people. One of them has to be the product person or the engineer. The other person has to be like the sales guy or the CEO. And sometimes there'll be three people. So it'll be like sales, CEO, and engineer. And if they don't see that pattern, those complementary positions working together, they don't want to deal with it, because as far as they're concerned, the only startups that are worth investing in or worth following are the ones that have a Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the CEO and the visionary and the engineer. So they're also looking for the personality. So the leader has to be that type A person, or a brilliant engineer, or a kind of someone who can do product, who drops out of college. Like, that's their ideal. And that's the pattern that they're looking for. And what you start to see now are ideas that are getting traction from investors, not because of the product that they have, but because of the person who's doing the pitching, who's usually very charismatic, sometimes even dress up like Steve Jobs. They're able to get these ideas off the ground, which wouldn't be possible with anybody else. And really, the investors are looking for the next Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, or Elon Musk. And if you don't fit that personality, you don't fit their idea of what a founder is, then they don't even want to talk to you. So this is actually a big problem in the startup world. I really don't like to see it or hear it. I'm actually against the idea of pitching to investors. I'm very much in the bootstrapping mold or finding alternative revenue sources. So don't if you've encountered this before, don't worry. It's not about your personality type or the way that you pitch yourself that will determine the success of an idea. It's whether you can execute on that idea, and even more importantly, whether you can find people, customers who are willing to pay for it. I mean, that's kind of the essence of entrepreneurship. Make something that people want. Don't worry about this stuff about type A personality unless you really want to raise money from some VC. If that's what you need to do, and some companies need to do that, then you need to be aware of what I've just told you. But also be aware that there's alternative ways to start a company. My favorite way is bootstrapping. You can look at some of my other videos on that topic. But even if it's a capital-intensive industry, it's possible to do things like contract labor or contract agreements, or have some sort of core customer that's willing to fund your operations as you get things going. And these are viable ways to start a company. I actually have some other videos on these topics as well as bootstrapping. So don't give up hope. My name is Ian Lamont. I am the founder of the Lean Media book, blog, and video channel. If you like these videos, please like this video right now and subscribe to my channel. You can also go to leanmedia.org, click on video, and you can see my YouTube channel there, or you can also see my Lean Media framework. Thank you so much for watching.